At the beginning of the start of our training Tuesday today is I've had a lot of internet issues last night and early this morning. So today is going to actually be one of the shortest training Tuesdays we've had. I know you guys are all busy. We are on the countdown down to fiscal year end. So we actually have, we got 2 weeks left. So the good big final push. So today's going to be very short. I had planned on getting into the business intelligence reporting tool that's in BidBuy and do a training on that. But when I was playing around with it this morning and last night, um, I don't know if you're like me, but if you see the thing that like spins and spins and spins and spins, it causes me great anxiety. So I'm not going to hold you up. I watching you, make you watch the circle spin around with me today. So let's jump right in. So we're going to talk about the monthly bid buy training, which is tomorrow. Our weekly procurement resource highlight is we're going to highlight the small business set aside program page on the CPOGS site and just kind of walk through some things that are there. Nothing is new about the site. It's just as we have a lot of new folks coming in to procurement and these training Tuesdays, I want to make sure that everybody knows that that is out there because you guys at the agency have more contact with vendors than anyone else. So when a lot of times you guys get questions about the small business set aside program. So we'll highlight that, and then we have our fun fact of the day. So let's get right into it. We talked about the fiscal year end. I'll leave this up for the next 2 weeks just to have a little fun with it. We have 14 days, but you guys are all very well aware of that. Okay, so tomorrow we're going to have our monthly bid buy training. It's going to be at 9 a.m. and we have a link here. There is no password to join. Feel free to share. I'm going to send around an email today to SPOs and APOs just as a reminder. So there is no prerequisite. There's no password. Just click on the link and join us when you can. Also, it will be the same link for each one of these segments. So we're breaking the segments out a little bit. We'll have a 9 a.m. session, 10 a.m. session, 11 and 1 o'clock. And that way, join us if you can. If you can't, I understand this time of the year is going to be pretty busy for a lot of folks. So, and this will be the same training that was last month. Okay. So this is if you're new to BidBuy, this is going to be perfect for you. Or if you just need a little bit of a refresher too, jump in. We'll start at 9 a.m. doing the introduction, what BidBuy is, a very high level overview of how it works, and general navigation to how to get around the page. At 10 a.m., we'll do a small purchase under $10,000, and then we kind of just layer on from that. So then we take a short little break. At 11 a.m., we do a small purchase $10,000 and over, with an eye on if you can do a small purchase $10,000 and over. From a bid buy perspective, you can do any of the procurement methods because at that point you've done a requisition, which has been converted to a bid, awarded at the bid tab, and then converted to purchase order. Okay, so even though we don't get into specifically training on how to do an IFB or an RFP, from a bid buy perspective in a process, if you can do a small purchase $10,000 and over, you can do an IFB. Now, obviously, there's going to be a lot more procurement requirements placed on an IFB or RFP, and there's different fields that you're going to complete. But the general idea is you've walked all the way through rec, bid tab, PO. Take a break for lunch, and then at 1 p.m. we will do a release off of master. Normally we'll be done about 2 o'clock, and so like I said, click on the link, join us. Come in and out as you'd like, and we'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. So our weekly resource highlight, the Small Business Set Aside Program page, which is on our CPOGS page. There's a link in here as well. So here's the link. It just talks about what the small purchase or the Small Business Set Aside Program is. Now, there are two ways. If you're a vendor, a lot of times we get vendors saying, well, yeah, I'm a small business, but they're not registered in our Illinois Small Business Set Aside Program. So as agency personnel, you have a unique opportunity speaking with vendors to get small businesses in that program because it's going to provide them some additional opportunities for state contracting. And there's two different ways that a vendor can, as a small business set aside vendor, will receive state contracts. That's first, it's for a small purchase. So any purchase less than $100,000 or 101 101,800. You're only be the vendor would only be competing with other small businesses. Also, additionally, we also have 600 and some NIGP codes that can go above the $101,800 and still be set aside for those small businesses. Okay, so there's some great information here on the um, behind the small business set aside program. What is a small business? What is it? What does it mean to be a small business in Illinois? And you need to be registered. It's a yearly registration in the Illinois Procurement Gateway. We have direct links to the IPG so they can click on the link. So you can send this link out to your vendors. And a lot of times what we see is you happen to know that a business would qualify for the small business set aside program. Absolutely, and we get this question a lot. Is it okay if I share that information with a vendor that I know would qualify? Absolutely, we want you to. We want more small businesses in our program. So down here, there's a couple links. We also have, like I said, this is really kind of intended for vendors to be looking at this, but it's really important that you understand how this program works as well. Small business set aside, renewal instructions, the requalification statement. So if I'm a vendor and I registered in IPG last year and registered in the small business set aside program, you have to prove that you are an Illinois-based business, and your gross receipts are below the threshold. So you will be submitting tax documents that first year, but subsequent years you don't have to put in your taxes every year. You just have this requalification statement that certifies that you are still making below that threshold. Okay, so that document is there as well. How to search for IPG database for small business set aside vendors. There's a link there. And then we talked about those 600 some commodity codes that are set aside for small businesses. We have a PDF that is right there. Okay, and how I got to this, of course, I had the link, but if you just go to the general services, let me go back to the home screen. You go to the CPOGS home screen, you scroll down to the bottom, there's a nice big icon that says small business set aside, and that's how we got that. Okay. Make sure I'm not missing any questions here. Let me pull up the chat. Nope. Okay, so we get to our fun fact, a very appropriate fun fact today. So on this day, Illinois' favorite son, Abraham Lincoln, June 16th, 1858, gave his famous "A house divided against itself cannot stand" speech at the old state capitol in downtown Springfield. Lincoln, then a relatively unknown politician, had just won the nomination to run for U.S. Senate against one of the most important politicians in the country, Stephen A. Douglas. Very appropriate for what we're dealing with in the country today. Here's a link to if you have a minute, I know you're busy, but maybe later on tonight, I read it this morning, and once again, it's just it's important. So, like I said, we'd planned on doing the reporting functionality in BidBuy. There has been some feedback that some agencies wanted that training. We are going to absolutely do that. I'm going to shoot again for next week. Like I said, I just didn't want you to, we didn't want to have 100 of us sitting here watching the spinny wheel. Facebook told me that in my area that they're working on data junction something or other. I'm not going to pretend like I know what it is. All it means is it brings the spinny wheel, and that causes me anxiety with all of us on the call. So short week or short training this week. We'll see you next week. Let me know as usual if you guys have any questions, and also take a look back at some of the, if you're doing renewals, some of those things that were appropriate for this time of year. Go take a look at the Tuesday training from the last couple of weeks, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, everybody.